And I'll take another one, but if I run and go.
Good morning. Will everyone start making their way to their seats, please? Good morning. Everyone, please take your seats. You don't want me like calling out names like Representative Valdez, find your seat. Oh, so sorry, Representative A. Valdez. Oh, you're there.
First gentleman, your seat is right over there.
The joint session will now come to order. Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I move that the morning roll call of the Senate be made the Senate roll call of the joint session.
If there is no objection, the morning roll call of the Senate will be made the Senate roll call of the joint session. Majority Leader Eskar.
Mr. Speaker, members, I move that the morning roll call of the House be made the House roll call of the joint session.
If there is no objection, the morning roll call of the House will be made the House roll call of the joint session. A quorum is present. As is customary, it is my privilege and honor to present this gavel to the President of the Senate. With the request that he preside over the proceedings. President Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the Joint Committee composed of Senators Fields, Rodriguez, and Woodward, and Representatives Luntine, McLaughlin, and Bradfield escort the Governor to the House chambers? It is my pleasure and honor to present to you the Honorable Jared Polis, Governor of the great state of Colorado. Chief Sergeant of the House, Judson. Chief Sergeant of the House, will you please...
Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, the Governor of the great state of Colorado, the Honorable Jared Polis.
Will the committee escort the Governor to the podium?
Mr. Speaker, how are you?
Do you want to step?
Yeah. Alec asked if I wanted to step. I said, not all people are as tall as he is. So. Good morning, everybody. You know, one traditionally begins, and you can be seated. And thank you for joining us. It's great to be here back in this chamber on schedule. You know, one traditionally begins the State of the State by acknowledging dignitaries that are here in the chamber. And we will do that, but today, this morning, calls for something a little different given the past year. I want to start by acknowledging the people that couldn't be here. And if you can join me in a moment of silence for Coloradans who lost their lives in the last year, some to COVID, some to violence, some to natural disasters, including the two in the recent Boulder County fire. We'll start with a moment of silence for those we lost. Now, thank you. To the legislative leadership of both parties, members of the General Assembly, Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera, Treasurer Dave Young, Attorney General Weiser, our dedicated First Gentleman Marlon Reese, Mayor Hancock, Justices of the Colorado Supreme Court, and members of the Cabinet, welcome. I appreciate and value your presence here today, and I really look forward to all the good work that we're going to do in the days and weeks ahead on behalf of the people of Colorado. We who are elected are so privileged to represent the people. My fellow Coloradans, I want to begin with gratitude. Gratitude for the people of Colorado who've shown up day after day in the face of trauma and under difficult circumstances to help one another, to help our Colorado. Gratitude for the individuals who fought past their own personal challenges to support the need of our community. Gratitude for my colleagues in this chamber who put Coloradans first, no matter what. And of course, gratitude for my family. Marlon, I want to thank you for being here today and everything you do for me and our family. Also immensely grateful for my staff, the workers for the state of Colorado, employees working hard in service to our great state through thick and thin. Well, this pandemic has made even the most mundane activities more risky. We haven't endured the virus alone. Evil acts against innocent people in the places we once ran errands or recreated have also made us feel less safe. We feared the ever-changing nature of the virus, wondering if what protected us yesterday will protect us today. We learned, unfortunately, that the words fire season don't apply when the most destructive fire in Colorado history happens at the end of December. And we were reminded once more that our lives and everything we hold dear can go up in flames in an instant. Yet, hope shines through. Hope. I know how easy it is to get lost in the pain and sadness and challenges of what we've all endured together. But no matter how tough last year was, I know for a fact that Coloradans are fundamentally good and tougher. We care for one another. We're tougher than anything thrown our way. I've seen it myself, and I know you have too, in so many ways. I've seen it in the students of Central High School in Mesa County, who, with the help of school staff, stood up a series of vaccination clinics before many of the student volunteers themselves were even eligible to get vaccinated, working 10 to 11 days, volunteering. The students and their faculty supervisors got more than 1,300 community members protected from the virus. I'm proud to be joined today by Mesa County Valley District 51 Assistant Superintendent Brian Hill and school staff Kim Flynn and Trey Downey. They're here with us today. Please stand and receive our gratitude. Thank you. You and your students are really great role models, and I want to thank you for all the work that you do to protect others. I've also seen that goodness, that toughness in the men and women on the front lines of the pandemic who've helped Colorado achieve one of the shortest shutdowns and lowest death rates of any state in the country. Thank you to Colorado's COVID response team, of course led by Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment Director Jill Ryan, Public Safety Director Stan Hilke, COVID-19 Incident Commander Scott Bookman, our team of experts and scientists, gratitude to local public health officials working on the grounds in their communities, National Guard members who spent the last 672 consecutive days supporting Colorado's pandemic response, everything from staffing testing sites to help distribute vaccine. Thanks to the critical workers and staff in our 24/7 facilities, And of course, thank you to my wonderful Chief of Staff, Lisa Kaufman, for helping to quarterback the effort as well. And thank you to the nurses, the doctors, the healthcare providers who've never stopped putting patients first. Politicians talk about improving lives. You actually save lives. We're so grateful for the work of our healthcare workers in any year, and in particular this last year. I've also seen that toughness, that goodness in individuals and businesses who have donated more than $20 million in less than 2 weeks to support their fellow Coloradans who had their homes destroyed or damaged by the Boulder County fire. We've seen that toughness in Boulder Sheriff Joe Pelly and his team, and the firefighters and emergency responders who sprung into action to save lives, save homes, even when many of them didn't know whether their own home was still standing. We are joined today by Sheriff Joe Pelly, who for the last 18 years has led my hometown community of Boulder County through natural disasters and emergencies. If Sheriff Pelly, our firefighters, our emergency responders could acknowledge our appreciation for all the work that you do. And when I met with them before this State of the State, I conveyed to them, we know you can't all be here in your hundreds and in your thousands. Please convey to your colleagues, to the men and women who serve with you, our profound gratitude as the state of Colorado. We are proud that you can represent them. We also saw that goodness in Lakewood Police Officer Ashley Ferris, who was injured in crossfire with the perpetrator of the heinous attacks across Denver and Lakewood. She still found the strength to take down the shooter, ending his violent killing spree and saving many. As many of you know, she couldn't join us in person. She was just let out of the hospital. She is recovering, but I know you will join me in wishing Officer Ferris a speedy recovery. And we proudly remember Officer Eric Talley, our VAT officer Gordon Beasley, both of who braved active shooter situations to save the lives of their fellow community members, even though it ultimately meant losing their own. Their families, their memory has our everlasting gratitude. This is really the Colorado spirit. These men and women who define who we are as a people, who represent the very best of us. There's so many other stories like theirs, everyday people doing their best, giving everything to protect our Colorado. You know, it feels like every time we turn on the news, we see partisanship, polarization, division across the country, across Congress. But not here in Colorado, where we set aside our differences and we come together to do what's right. It's just a part of our fabric. It's part of who we are. No one political party has a monopoly on good ideas or on love of country. I'm proud to be joined today by my friend and former treasurer, Walker Stapleton, who I recently appointed to the Economic Development Commission. Walker. I appointed Walker because I know how much he loves this state. And I know that Colorado will benefit from his talent, his dedication, and his business savvy, just as the General Assembly will benefit from Speaker Garnett's appointment of Representative Mark Catlin as the Vice Chair of the House Agriculture Committee. That's because this isn't my Colorado or your Colorado. This is our Colorado. There's elections. People win and lose elections, but we're all in this together. We all respond together. We heal together. We move forward together. We succeed together. It's why, in spite of all that we've faced this last year, I count it as the greatest honor of my life to serve as your governor, and I'm hopeful as ever about the promise of a bright future for Colorado. And there's work ahead. It's up to us in this chamber to continue doing everything in our power to protect the way of life that we cherish in our state and build on our accomplishments of the last years. When I stood before you all last February, I described a vision for the future of our state, a future where every child can get the education that they deserve, a future where a dynamic multimodal transportation system meets the needs of our growing roads, a future where access to affordable and quality health care is a given, not just an aspiration for too many people, a future where we protect and invest in our public lands and parks that make Colorado beautiful and build a clean energy economy, a future where our people and our communities aren't just getting by, but thriving. That future was more than just a dream. It was a call to action, a challenge for all of us to live up to this shared vision of Colorado. And I'm proud that in spite of the many difficulties we've weathered, that vision is more within reach, thanks to the hard work of this legislative body and our shared commitment to deliver for our fellow Coloradans. I want to take a moment to recognize the best partners a governor could ask for in the two gentlemen standing behind me. In these unprecedented times, we may not agree on everything all the time, but our unwavering mutual commitment to the success of all Coloradans and of our beautiful state is the rock-solid foundation upon which we built a lasting partnership. And I want to express my heartfelt thanks to Speaker Alec Garnett and President Leroy Garcia in their last legislative session for their service to the people of our state. And to House Majority Leader Esgar, who's also starting her last session, thank you for your partnership, for your tireless advocacy on behalf of Pueblo and our hardworking state employees. To Senator Holbert in his last term, thank you for your dialogue, the bipartisan collaboration, your steady leadership and advocacy for Douglas County. Thank you for your work. And to Senator Fenberg and Representative McKeon, if you want a shout out like this, you have to stick around for another few more years. Just as we've stepped up to meet what often felt like a never-ending onslaught of challenges, disasters, we've also had the opportunity to respond with the same resolve and urgency to the day-to-day crises that Coloradans face. Because of this pandemic, the cost of living in our state continues to go up. Coloradans are desperate for relief. So let's deliver. We need to double down on our promise to help every business and family succeed. That means taking less of your hard-earned money and fees and taxes, putting more in your pockets and paychecks. Inflation has accelerated during the pandemic. Supply chains globally have been disrupted. Spending habits have changed. The cost of housing has spiked. Farmers and ranchers face unprecedented challenges. And many Coloradans have left the workforce. Too many people are struggling to make ends meet. As your governor, I want you to know we hear you and we're here to do something about it. While all of these complex problems can't be solved by any one bill overnight, we promise to use every single tool at our disposal to save hardworking Coloradans the money you need to live the life you want. In one of his most popular songs, legendary songwriter Paul Simon sings of 50 ways Goes, you slip out the back, Jack, make a new plan, Stan. You don't need to be coy, Roy. I know it's Roy Romer, but Roy, just set yourself free. Now, I'm no Paul Simon, as you just saw, or even Vice President Selena Meyer, but in the year ahead, I'll be pushing more than 50 ways to save Coloradans money. Now, again, I don't have a knack for rhyming, but I did my best. I promise that the work we do will save Coloradans money. So my new version of Paul Simon's lyrics goes a little something like this. Just cut the tax, Max. You lower the rate, Nate. You don't need to pay more, Thor. Just send your kids for free to preschool and kindergarten. And this concept and this focus on saving people money is not new for my administration, as you know. It's been hardwired into our DNA from my first day in office. In my first weeks in office, we created the Office of Saving People Money on Healthcare, which in collaboration with legislators and healthcare providers has resulted in nation-leading efforts to reduce healthcare costs. Thanks to the efforts of Representative McCluskey, Representative Rich, Senator Donovan, Senator Rankin, we created a reinsurance program which has successfully reduced health premiums on the individual market by 24% average, saving Coloradans an average of $1,400 per year and an average of $2,450 per year on the Western Slope, which has been one of the highest cost markets. With the tireless commitment of Representative Judah, Senator Donovan, Representative Roberts, we created a first-in-the-country insurance model that will save money for everyone who buys insurance, individual, small businesses, in the small group market. And thanks to the leadership of Representative Roberts, we're capping the skyrocketing cost of insulin at $100 per month. After years of advocacy by members of this body, including former Representative Wilson, current Representatives McLaughlin, Senator Bridges, and Fields, the General Assembly passed free full-day kindergarten that saves families up to $4,800 a year and gives our youngest Coloradans a strong start in life. With Speaker Garnett, Representative Sirota, Senate Majority Leader Fenberg, Senator Buckner leading the way, we're focused on implementing free universal preschool, passed by more than 2/3 of the voters, saving even more money for young families, saves an average of $4,300 per child for families with preschoolers. Healthcare and education are where Coloradans face some of the highest costs. It's a big part of any family's budget. But we also know they aren't the only pain points and challenges. That's why we've also implemented historic tax relief, helping Coloradans keep more of what they earn. We funded the Colorado Child Tax Credit for the first time in history, giving families with children under age 6 up to $1,080 per year per child. We also doubled the state earned income tax credit, giving hardworking Coloradans up to $1,095 a year. We cut taxes for retirees by exempting Social Security income from the state income tax, saving seniors on a fixed income up to $654 a year. Voters also approved reductions to the Colorado income tax rate, saving families an average of about $100 per year, but also helping businesses hire more and pay more. And because we in this chamber are not only committed to saving Colorado's money, but to doing it in a way that ensures continued access to critical state services, we fully paid for the tax cuts by reducing lobbyist loopholes and special interest tax giveaways for the wealthy and well-connected. And I want to thank Senator Moreno, Senator Hansen, Representative Sirota, Representative Weissman for their leadership on this bold tax reform package. It's already saving people money in so many different ways. Because our revenues as a state are strong, families will also receive a refund of $74 on average this year and about $440 on average next year, along with another income tax rate cut of 1.1%. We also cut property taxes for farms, ranches, renewable energy projects, and homes. And next year, we're going to start letting every homeowner defer increases on their property taxes, making sure they don't ever have to pay a tax bill they can't afford. Thank you, Treasurer Young, for your leadership in protecting families from rising property tax bills. As the treasurer knows, these things sound easy. Let's protect families from rising property tax bills, but the treasurer has to put pen to paper to make it work. So thank you for making that happen. My administration will work with both parties to continue cutting taxes and fees wherever we can, but never at the expense of teachers and law enforcement. We took bipartisan action in 2020, again in 2021, allowing restaurants and bars to retain their sales tax during the pandemic, a lifeline for so many businesses. Thank you to Representative Van Winkle, Valdez, Representative Mullica, Senator Bridges, Senator Pedersen, Senator Woodward, former Senator Tate. In our commitment to help support our local economies, the tax reform package permanently exempted small businesses from the business personal property tax. That means real savings for nearly every small Main Street business in both time, one less form, and money. Businesses we have an example of the tens of thousands of businesses who benefited from that here. It's a restaurant that I plan to try out next time I'm in Park County. Smiling Pig Restaurant in Park County, owned by Tim Craig, will save more than $1,000 a year thanks to these policies. And we're joined not only by Tim, but also by Park County Assessor Monica Jones. If Monica and Tim could wave on behalf of all small businesses. Where are you, Monica and Tim? There they are. Thank you for being here. To keep down costs for entrepreneurs like Tim and so many others, I'm proposing that we further reduce fees like the unemployment insurance premium, the paid family and medical leave premium, resulting in hundreds of millions of dollars in savings for businesses and workers that power our economy. And while we're at it, to foster our entrepreneurial spirit, we should make it free for Coloradans to start their own business. And I look forward to working with Secretary of State Jenna Griswold, Representative Cutter and Sullivan, and Senator Pedersen and Kolker to get this done, to make it free to start a business for any Coloradan. Last year, Majority Leader Fenberg, Senator Donovan, Representative Will, and Representative Tipper brought us the innovative Keep Colorado Wild Pass that cut the cost of an annual pass to our state parks by more than half, saving the average family more than $40. With this pass, everyone can enjoy our treasured public lands for less, including our two newest state parks at Fisher's Peak and Sweetwater Lake. Your efforts also help make sure we have the resources to care for and conserve these important lands. I want to thank Colorado Department of Transportation Director Shoshana Liu, as well as the bipartisan coalition of legislators and local leaders, including Mayor Suthers and Mayor Kaufman, who helped us here pass absolutely historic transportation funding, which had been evasive and needed for so long, spearheaded by Senator Winter, Senate Majority Leader Fenberg, Speaker Garnett, and Representative Gray. We cut vehicle registration fees, saving people money, while making record investments in our rural roads, in new and better ways to transport people, goods, and services that will save Coloradans time, and save Coloradans money, and put us on a pathway to a cleaner, more sustainable transportation system. We are finally going to fix the darn roads. Looking to the year ahead, I'm excited that with the leadership of Representative Ortiz, Representative Young, Senator Fields, and Senator Kolker, we're doubling down in our efforts to cut costs for Coloradans by preventing increases in driver's license fees, and I look forward to efforts to reduce vehicle registration fees. We've lowered housing costs by funding more than 14,000 units of affordable housing in the last year, saving families more than $72 million annually, but we know we need to do a lot more. Rising housing costs in all parts of our state have far too often priced people out of neighborhoods they've lived in for decades. To create even more housing opportunities, to improve affordability, we look forward to working with you to capitalize on the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity from the American Rescue Plan Act funds for transformative change. And I look forward to building on the incredible work of the Bipartisan Affordable Housing Transformational Task Force under the capable leadership, first of former Representative Dominique Jackson and now of Chairman Roberts and Vice Chairwoman Gonzalez. Thank you for your work to create a stronger, healthier, and more affordable communities across our state. And because, of course, we always want to lead by example, we're also saving Coloradans money by making your state government more efficient and more effective. We are on track to reduce our state's office square footage footprint by more than 1 million square feet over the next 3 years, cutting costs, improving employee retention and morale, and we're implementing best practices from the private sector to save millions in contract negotiations. And by improving our digital services, we're becoming leaner, less bureaucratic, and more convenient for today's consumer, the people of Colorado. In the coming weeks and months, we need to continue these efforts. We need to find new and innovative ways to save Coloradans money. These policies matter to Coloradans. It isn't just dollars and cents back in our pockets, it's peace of mind for our families. And that's truly priceless. So yes, there must be at least 50 ways to save Coloradans money, 50 ways to save Coloradans money. If it isn't clear, saving Coloradans money and keeping our state affordable is my top priority this session. And one of the biggest areas to save people money is health care. Thanks to Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera, who leads our Office of Saving People Money on Health Care, our legislative champions have delivered on promises to cut costs, even in the midst of an extraordinary pandemic, capping out-of-pocket drug costs. But of course, we're not done yet. Here in Colorado and across the nation, the pandemic has worsened what was already a horrifying trend of young children and teens and adults suffering increased feelings of isolation and anxiety and depression and other mental health issues. Colorado needs to take further action now. We want to partner with local governments and school districts to multiply the impact of historic funding to create a responsible and effective approach to addressing the mental health needs from the mountains to the plains of Coloradans. And getting there means integrating physical and mental health services, bolstering our often overworked behavioral health workforce, and most importantly, getting Colorado children the support they need to be happy, to just be kids. Thanks to the leadership of Representative Michelson-Janae, we now have the I Matter program, which connects our kids with critical mental health support. We're joined today by Melissa Mead and her wonderful son, Grady, a 9th grader. When Grady, like so many kids across our state, needed mental health support last year, at first Melissa ran up against the harsh reality of a bureaucratic and expensive and hard to navigate behavioral health system. And she struggled to find the support that Grady and her family needed until she found the free I Matter program. Within minutes of reaching out through imattercolorado.org, Melissa and Grady were on their way. A few days later, they were scheduled for their first appointment. And Grady, where are you, Grady? There you are, Grady. Your future is bright. Everyone in this room is rooting for you, and thank you for your bravery in helping to reduce the stigma around mental health. So let's build on that success. Good work is already being done. We have the opportunity to make it available for more Coloradans, especially youth in need. I want to thank the members of the Behavioral Health Transformational Task Force under the capable leadership of Chairwoman Pedersen, Vice Chair Gonzalez Gutierrez. We have confidence that your many excellent recommendations will lead to tremendous progress in looking after the mental health of our fellow Coloradans. As we pursue the improved health and well-being of Coloradans, especially our children, we of course acknowledge the power of a strong education for every child. Helping kids get a great education is not only the most important priority for the state, but it's also the passion of my life's work. I'm so proud that over the last few years, we've done what generations before believed impossible. Free full-day kindergarten, universal preschool. We're joined by Alexis Ramirez and her son Benjamin today, who knew full well the importance of free kindergarten. Benjamin is a kindergartner, attending kindergarten for free, along with over 60,000 other Colorado 5-year-olds who are grateful for the work we've done here. Join me in welcoming Alexis and Benjamin. Where's Alexis and Benjamin? There they are. Good job, Benjamin, sitting through this. Look at. I should point out that Benjamin's missing kindergarten today, but that's okay. This is worth it. Despite our progress, the pandemic has dealt an especially hard challenge for our students. It's made our educators go far beyond what any of them could have expected. My administration worked tirelessly with school superintendents, with local public health leaders to successfully bring Colorado children back to the classroom last year. We're providing free medical grade masks, more than 2 million distributed to date, to every student, to every teacher who wants one, testing supplies, hosting on-site vaccine clinics to make sure that students and staff members can get the protection that they deserve as our students are safely in school. I want to thank every educator and school staff member who's done their part, who's done more than their part to help keep Colorado schools open. There's nothing more important to the future of our state than educating Colorado children. Thank you for keeping our schools open. That's also a reason that my budget has a historic investment, in kindergarten through 12th grade education, reducing the budget stabilization factor to a 13-year low while increasing funding for every child by about $12,000 to $13,000 per classroom. That's an 8% increase. That supports smaller class size, better pay for teachers, restoring enrichment programs like the arts, and of course, we need to be responsible. And that means setting aside money to help keep up with this increased level of investment for future years. As an example, with this increased funding, the Canyon City School District will be able to compensate educators better and finally be able to fund full-time mental health professionals and counseling staff to provide emotional support needed to help students thrive in each and every one of their schools. And we're joined today by Canyon City school counselors, Brian Van Warden and Stacy Andrews. Brian and Stacy, thanks for joining us. Help is on the way. I'm also proposing in my budget stronger support for our state's institutions of higher education, including an expansion of available financial aid and investments to help reduce costs and keep tuition flat. Just as we're investing in the success of our students, we're also investing in the people and the small businesses that power Colorado's economy. I want to thank the Workforce Task Force with Representative McCluskey, Senator Zenzinger, the Colorado Commission on Higher Education, and Dr. Angie Piccioni for your commitment to crafting recommendations that will help create a thriving workforce, which means a thriving economy. In every community, so every community in every corner of our state can live long and prosper. Most of you don't. We know this pandemic has been hard on workers across all industries, but perhaps none more than nurses and doctors and healthcare professionals. I want to thank the Joint Budget Committee for their partnership on raising the minimum wage, to at least $15 an hour for more than 30,000 Medicaid, home, and community-based service workers who provide needed care to aging and disabled Coloradans. And now we're doing the same for similar positions in nursing facilities. Thank you for that work. Looking ahead, I'm looking forward to working with you to waive licensing fees for nurses, for mental health care workers, for our nursing homes and assisted living facilities where residents have been particularly hard hit throughout this pandemic. Eliminating these fees puts money back into the pockets of our dedicated healthcare workers who served us in our time of need. Putting this pandemic behind us means learning to live with the curveballs that COVID-19 may throw. But in order to do that, we need our hospitals to maintain capacity and ensure Coloradans get the care they need when they need it. That's why in the days ahead, I'll be proposing a 3-year plan to make historic investments to stabilize our healthcare workforce and expand career paths for all Coloradans who heed the noble call of wanting to care for others. Moving forward, we simply cannot let our society and our economy be impacted by hospital capacity. And I look forward to working with legislators and healthcare leaders to ensure that no matter where this pandemic or the future takes us, we will be ready here in Colorado. Just as an earthquake is followed by aftershocks, we know that the overarching crisis of the pandemic has led to many other crises, but they're equally important, if not more, to address. Some Coloradans, of course, are most impacted by the health risks of COVID-19. First and foremost, the 10,000 brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers that we've lost. But others are most pained by the rising costs of everything, every item, disruptions to kids' education, the increase in crime in the communities that we call home. And I want to take a moment to recognize the law enforcement professionals that are here with us today. In addition to Sheriff Pelley, who we mentioned earlier, we're joined by several district attorneys, police chiefs, sheriffs, our state patrol officers who spend every day keeping us safe. You always stand up for us, so today let us stand up for you. Thank you. I've never been one to shy away from ambitious goals, which is why I want to spend the next 5 years making Colorado one of the top 10 safest states in the country. Let's make it so. We've already taken critical steps in fighting crime and promoting public safety, but there's a lot more work to be done. I'm proud to put forward a responsible public safety plan, builds on historic legislation of years past, giving much needed support and funding to local law enforcement while investing in community-based approaches, data-driven organizations that can help prevent crime from occurring in the first place. Organizations like GRASP, which stands for Gang Rescue and Support Project. It's run by peers in the community who've successfully turned their lives around, and they want to help others do the same and escape the gang lifestyle. GRASP focuses on supporting Colorado youth, mental health, job placement, at-risk intervention, training, and mentoring. Join me in welcoming GRASP's Executive Director, Johnny Williams. Johnny, where are you? Thank you, Johnny. We want to make Colorado communities safer by focusing on training and recruiting efforts for police, supporting community policing models that work, increasing access to mental health services, offering early intervention grants, increasing support for domestic violence victims, and making safety improvements in our schools and on our streets. I want to thank the Senate President Garcia and Senator Buckner, who along with Representative Tipper and Representative Ricks are leading a particularly exciting initiative, Safer Streets, which will empower law enforcement to work directly with communities to create stronger, safer communities with an emphasis on those areas that are most impacted by crime. We owe it to the people of Colorado to improve safety and make Colorado truly one of the safest states in the nation over the next several years. As Ben Franklin said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Data and common sense tell us that preventing a crime does more to keep people safe than solving a crime after it's committed. But with that being said, we also know there are times when the swift arm of justice is the best solution, which is why I look forward to working with you on legislation to strengthen penalty for drug dealers peddling fentanyl in our communities, because Coloradans are sick and tired of our loved ones dying from fentanyl. It's also time to put forward better and bolder solutions to reduce homelessness. We know what works. We just need to do it. Affordable and transitional housing, substance abuse treatment, recovery care, residential programs, housing with wraparound support services, and of course, recipients of funds need to be held accountable for actually reducing homelessness. We look forward to working with you on that issue. And we will stop at nothing to keep Coloradans safe. Public safety is a critical component of a strong and healthy Colorado. But it doesn't end there. Building safer, healthier communities also means improving our air quality, meeting the climate crisis head on. Only 2 weeks ago, our state watched in horror as the fire in Boulder County, fueled by extreme winds and drought conditions, swept through communities like yours and mine. These are our neighbors, our friends, our family. Last year, historic mudslides destroyed portions of I-70 through Glenwood Canyon. And in 2020, the 3 largest wildfires in Colorado history scorched hundreds of thousands of acres and filled our skies with smoke-filled air for months on end. I'm grateful for the work my administration has done in partnership with Colorado's General Assembly to move our state towards a cleaner, more affordable, renewable energy future. We've set Colorado on a path to reducing emissions statewide while also creating 2 new state parks, expanding access to our state trust lands, and thank you to our legislative champions. We also invested in the people and the technology we need to effectively respond to disasters. Tools like the Agile Firehawk helicopter that can give firefighters the upper hand on the front lines, and targeted fire mitigation efforts that can prevent small fires from becoming catastrophes. I'm requesting additional support for the men and women on the ground, including personal protective equipment, training, and many other needs that we can help meet for local fire departments. The fresh mountain air that so many people associate with Colorado isn't a given. We have to fight to protect it. And I'm committed to cutting emissions and getting this done, improving air quality. It's not just about health, it's also about seizing the opportunity to reduce costs for Coloradans, save people money on their monthly electricity bill while preserving the Colorado way of life. We will continue working with you to make targeted investments to improve air quality and monitoring, increase the availability of clean transportation options like electric school buses, accelerate our transition to a cleaner economy, and apply real accountability as we seek and secure environmental justice for those who are most impacted. And because water is the lifeblood of our state, critical to our ag industry, to our way of life, we must work together across industries, across divides, across state boundaries to secure a sustainable water future for all Coloradans. Know this, we will continue to protect and aggressively assert Colorado's water rights under all existing water compacts. We are also committed to updating Colorado's water plan to make it more resilient, ensure that our cities and farms and streams can thrive for generations to come. Just like 2021 was the year that Britney reclaimed her freedom and Taylor Swift reclaimed her music, it was also the year we began reclaiming what it means to live happy and healthy lives here in Colorado, even in the midst of tragedy. And this is the year we double down on that. Heck, even the beloved Colorado icon Casa Bonita is making a much hoped for comeback. Thanks to South Park's Trey Parker and Matt Stone, who I thought of inviting, but I know they'd outshine all of us, so let's be honest. The pandemic has taken so much from us, but as Taylor Swift says, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. Everything will be all right because we know what we gotta do. Clearly, I'm no Taylor Swift either. It's easy for all of us to talk about the grand ideas we have for our beloved state, but it's another thing entirely to turn those words into action. When I was elected governor, I knew that I would be remembered not for who I was or where I came from or even what I said at events like this, but rather for what I did to make meaningful, measurable, positive impacts on the lives of Coloradans, how our efforts helped businesses succeed, put money in people's pockets, made our streets safer, our air cleaner, our lives longer and healthier. If there's one thing that you take away from today, let it be my optimism for the days ahead. Our commitment to moving Colorado forward by saving people money, improving affordability, and making our state a better place for everyone, because this is our Colorado. And I couldn't be more proud to be your governor. You know, when I see the staggering beauty of the Rocky Mountains, I'm reminded of what it means to be a Coloradan. It's true from the Flatirons to Fisher's Peak, to Pikes Peak, to Long's Peak, and beyond. You see, these mountains have withstood millions of years of whipping winds and pounding rains, cutting ice, blistering fires. Cracks have formed and the rock is eroded, but nevertheless, they stand tall. A beacon of hope, a point of great pride as Coloradans, and a reflection of our strength as a people and who we are. So when I think about the state of our state, I'm brought back to our Purple Mountain majesties. The state of our state, just like the people of Colorado, is strong, it is steadfast, and in spite of everything, we are boldly moving forward. God bless you all. God bless our Colorado, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Governor Polis. Will the committee escort the governor from the chamber? Majority Leader Eskar.
Mr. President, I move the message of the governor be printed in the House Journal.
Seeing no objection, the governor's message will be printed in the House Journal. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the joint session be dissolved.
Seeing no objection to Majority Leader Fenberg's motion, the joint session is dissolved.